Hey, my name is Joe Welch and I am brand new to FPVs, and I thought, today I took my first flight, so I thought that I would take you guys kind of on the course I took to get there and how it went. I want to cover getting into the simulators, which simulators I thought were the best for learning, how much time I spent in them. I'll show you a little bit of progress on how I was in the simulators. And I want to talk to you about the different drones I ordered. I ordered two different ones. One of them was the Bardwell DIY kit, and I want to do a little bit of a mini review of that, more of a review of the YouTube video series, how the build process went. We'll talk about that, and then we'll show you some of my first flight videos today. I think I did 3 packs today, crashed on the third one, so we will show you how that went. Overall, it's been a lot of fun. I'm really digging this hobby so far, so I thought maybe I could help some of you out there that are also looking to get into it and maybe considering the Bardwell kit. I know there wasn't a ton of stuff out there on it because it's pretty new, so I thought maybe this would help you, so let's get into it. If you want to skip ahead, there will be timestamps, so feel free to skip ahead to any of the things that you want to see. You don't have to sit around for the whole thing. So, first thing is, brand new to FPV, brand new to drones in general, or quads, or whatever you want to call them. Never flown any of it. Never flew a DJI thing. The only thing I've flown remote control was maybe 15 years ago. I had like a small helicopter that was meant for indoors, and I flew that around, but that was it. So to start, I thought, I asked my buddy Alan, and he said definitely start with the simulators. So he recommended this Radio Master Pocket, which I like because it's about the same price as a regular game controller, 60 bucks. Works great. I'm a thumb kind of guy. I've been a gamer since I was a little kid, so it's very comfortable to go with thumbs, and this one feels great for that. So I ordered this, downloaded some simulators. I started with Liftoff, and I think Liftoff was the best one to learn. I've since tried, I think, 4 other sims. So if you're starting out, I recommend Liftoff. I'm gonna throw in some clips here. I've got clips of me at 5 hours, at 15 hours, and then I took a clip of me today at 26 hours. So we'll show you my progress as I went here. Right now, I currently have about 19 hours in Liftoff, and I have 7 hours in Velocidrone. So definitely Liftoff was my favorite by far. I think it had the best onboarding. It walks you through little by little how each of the controls work. You're also on a big golf course, big, wide open area. Definitely recommend Liftoff first. Do Liftoff first, get comfortable in Liftoff, and then from there, if you really want to get into racing, I think the best race courses out of the sims I tried was Velocidrone. A lot of really fun stuff. They've got realistic, like replica tracks, and they've also got some crazy stuff as well. So if you're into racing, Velocidrone I think is the best, but to start out, I still recommend starting in Liftoff. I started feeling pretty good after 10 to 15 hours. I was starting to feel pretty comfortable, got the controls down, and then after 20 hours, I was starting to pick things up, get faster, change my camera angle, a little higher tilt, and really start racing. So definitely start in the simulators. Once you feel good in the simulators, time to order some drones. I ordered 2. I wanted to go digital and go DJI first, and I didn't want to deal with analog and then having to transition to digital later. That's just how I wanted to do it. So I tried to find one of the smallest that I could find that allowed the DJI 03, and for me that was the Pavo 20 by Beta FPV. I ordered that, waiting for it to come in, took forever, still not here. It's been a couple weeks, probably a couple more weeks. Apparently it takes forever to get stuff over from China. I ordered directly from Beta FPV. So at the same time, I ordered the Bardwell DIY kit. That came in right away from Beta FPV in just a couple days. Took me 2 nights to build this, probably about 6 or 8 hours total. And once it was built, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna sit around and just stare at it and wait for the Pavo 20 to come into practice on that. Let's send it. So I, took it out today, put 3 packs in it. So now I want to talk about a little review of the kit, the Bardwell QAV-S 2 HD kit, and how the build process went. Build process was great. His videos on YouTube are amazing. Followed him along. I recommend that you watch them all through before it comes. Order your kit while you're waiting for it in the mail and you're anxious, just watch all the videos. I know it's really long, it's like hours and hours worth of videos, but you're gonna see in there that there's things that he kind of says maybe I should have planned ahead and done this a little bit differently and whatever. So if you watch it all the way through, you'll kind of find those things, and you might end up tweaking the build process a little bit. For example, one was how he routed the DJI 03 cable. He kind of had to take apart part of the drone to reroute the cable, and if you would have planned ahead, it would have been a little easier. And also the capacitor, I feel like maybe you could solder the capacitor on a little bit differently. But overall, great experience. I didn't run into any issues that he didn't cover in the videos. If I had an issue, he covered it in one of the videos, so it was no big deal. That I thought was really good. The hardest part was learning to solder. So I just did what he did, and or he recommended, and I ordered some practice soldering boards, and I just practiced a bunch. Couple lessons I learned. One, don't use the solder that comes with the soldering boards. I got ones from the same brand that he recommends. I think it was a slightly different board, but it was the same guy who makes them. And it came with solder wrapped around the boards, and I started using that thinking, use this first and not waste the good solder that I ordered. No, just throw that stuff away. It was terrible. Once I switched to the other solder that Bardwell recommended, it was so much better. Also, I ordered the TS101 pen, like a pen style portable soldering iron. And it worked okay. And then once I was building the drone, I started coming into some issues, and I went out to Lowe's and bought like a proper soldering iron station similar to the one that Bardwell recommends, but I was just impatient to order from Amazon. 9-day difference. Don't even deal with the little pen portable things. Just get like the one that he recommends, that he uses at his desk. It was so much easier. I mean, it was just night and day difference. So highly recommend you get quality soldering iron, and it'll make your life much easier. I'd also debated just getting the iFlight Nazgul Evoke F5D like pre-built, right? And I almost bought that one because I thought, it'd be a little quicker, and to get it up and running and those kind of things. And then I realized, I really want to build it because I want to know how it works. And I think if I can build it and I understand how it works, I'll be less scared to crash it. If I was to crash the iFlight one, I have no idea how to fix that. I'd probably just order more parts and hope for the best. But with this thing, you build the whole thing, you understand how it works. If I crash this and break part of it, I know how to fix it. I can take it apart, fix it, put it back together, and it's not gonna be an issue. So today when I crashed it, whatever, big deal. I'll fix it, maybe, and, and she'll be flying again soon. So highly recommend going that route. The videos were great. Joshua Bardwell was great. Everything was, didn't have any issues. Yeah, so now I wanna show you the videos from my first flight. I did 3 packs today, and we're going to show you those videos, and I'm just going to talk over them and tell you kind of some things that went through my head and the experiences I had and all that. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, finished the JB build. First flight about to go down. I'm pretty nervous. We're in a big open field. No one's here, so we'll give it a spin and we'll see how it goes. So this is my first pack. Started off a little rough before this. I didn't get a video of it, but I did some tests like Joshua Bardwell recommended. It turns out I had the rear props on reversed, so I had to fix that. Finally got it working. I've been having issues with the radio, like sometimes it'll connect, sometimes it wouldn't. I would have to rebind it every now and then. It seemed kind of really flaky. I'm not sure why. It is an ELRS, so if anyone knows any reason why sometimes it seems to connect, sometimes it doesn't, let me know in the comments. But yeah, this was the first one. First time ever flying a drone in real life was right here. So one issue that I had, if you see me kind of floating up, not doing much, it's because I couldn't see the battery voltage in the bottom left, the way the goggles were sitting on my face. It was like out of view. So what I'd have to do is just kind of take one hand off the controller and move hold my goggles closer to my face so I could see the battery. So you could see towards the end, I kind of was just floating around, and it was because I kept grabbing my goggles. But I was pretty nervous here, really kind of taking it easy. I really thought, like, with all this time in the sim, I would get in here and just start ripping and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And I was way more nervous than I thought I'd be. My hands were shaking, my hands were sweaty. You could see I'm not smooth at all on any input, really. I'm all over the place. But it was a lot of fun. Went to this big open field, no one around. Right here, I'm starting to get a little more comfortable, trying to get a little closer to these field goals. Is that what they're called in football? Man, I don't watch football. Is that bad? Field goal? Yeah, whatever. The thing. The posts. Anyway, so as you can see, I start diving under them. I wanted to do a split S on one of them. I think I ended up doing it here. I don't know if it was this pack or the next pack, but I'm kind of just going back and forth, getting a feel for it, seeing how it reacts, seeing how it feels any different than the sim. Honestly, it wasn't much different than the simulators, in my opinion. It felt really good. I felt really comfortable, felt like I knew what I was doing, other than I was super nervous, like trying to take it easy. You can see I'm slowly getting a little more confidence here. I realized after today was like, I want to stand somewhere more obvious. There were times when I'm like, am I gonna fly close to myself? And you're so like focused on what you're doing, and you're kind of just looking in the middle of the goggles and not the peripheral vision. you know, you kind of maybe lose track of where you are in real life, and you're like, I hope I don't smash this thing into the back of my head. I could see a lot of gaps, like a lot of cool gaps here. Once I get more confidence, this place is going to be a lot of fun to fly, and it's usually not busy at all. It's almost always dead, so I think this will be the place to go to. That was really nice. I dove down, and then I saw that fence coming. I'm like, ooh, I better punch the gas here a little bit. Gas, throttle? I guess it's throttle. The downside of this place, there's goat's heads everywhere. I don't know, you know, we live in New Mexico, and we brought the dog with. My wife and the dog are here too, and stepped like 1 foot into the field, and our dog Jake had like 50 goat's heads. So it was like, okay, well, we got to keep him in the pavement. Next time we go, we'll bring his boots. But yeah, so here I'm starting to like wonder what's going on with the battery. I kind of start floating up high, trying to look at the battery. I didn't even get to the battery. I think maybe, you know, you're supposed to land around 3.5 volts per cell. And I think I landed at like 3.8 or something. Like I just had to stop because it was almost too intense. Like now I was getting a little bit motion sickness, I guess you could say, a little bit dizzy. And there was my terrible landing. I kind of like powered down and tried to let go, but then I bounced up and killed it, and it kind of fell a few feet and flipped upside down, but it was fine. This is pack number 2, so I was getting a little more confidence, tried to do a split S there, and ended up giving a little too much throttle coming out of it. Here I got the nerves to do a power loop, probably the coolest thing I did all day. Turned out pretty good. I sent it a little higher than I would have liked to, but just trying to be safe. But I'm feeling better now. Now that I got the first one out of the way, my nerves weren't as bad. I fixed the goggles so that now I can see the battery voltage. I had to adjust the kind of the distance the eyes were on the DJI goggles too. I think I'm gonna end up getting the foam. And I know there's like some aftermarket foam face interfaces, like facial interfaces that I've heard are a lot better. So I think I'm gonna try one of those and see if that makes it any better. I'm using all this footage is directly from the DJI O3 Air unit. That's why there's no audio. Later on, you'll see some footage from the goggles too. I think there was a couple times the DJI O3 didn't record, even though it's set to automatically record. I think it may be overheated. Later, you'll even see, it says like the flight controller is overheating or something. I don't know if that means the O3 is the overheating. I'm super noob at this stuff, so let me know if you know what that meant. Thought I could do a split S there, and I was like, maybe not. I didn't yet notice that some people arrived. There was like a dad and his son coming to practice some football stuff. And my wife, you know, she was going to be right next to me and kind of tell me what was going on, but because of all the goat's heads for the dog, she was off on the concrete, and she said she was like trying to like run over and figure out how to yell at me. But eventually I saw him, and I landed right here. I finally realized, oh, someone's here. So this was like midway through pack 2. I'm terrible at landing. I should have practiced that more in the sim. I tried, but you know, wasn't, towards the end I get a little bit better at it. But so this is the same pack. I just moved over to another side of the field where there was no one else. Here you can see this is from the goggles. So we've, you know, the pack's at 3.8. And this area has some nice features too. I like those 3 trees there. I kind of was messing around there a lot, trying to just work on control and slowing things down. Really shaky still. I really need to work on smoothing it out and having smoother inputs. Obviously, I think gyroflow would probably help with some of the stuff, but I think a lot of it is just I'm super jittery and green. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. I copied Joshua Bardwell's OSD. I think that's what it's called. I always want to call it a HUD because that's what we call it in gaming. I'm a game designer, but yeah, I copied his. I don't even know what half the stuff means. Obviously, I know the battery voltage at the bottom. I know there's some stuff bottom right for the goggles, like battery percentage and that stuff. Some of the stuff at the top, I guess you got milliamp hours. But yeah, some of the other stuff I don't even know. I probably need to figure out what all that stuff means. trying to work on like split S's there, bailing out, figuring out I'm not, you know, definitely way off. In the simulator, that's like, I was doing those things all the time. They're so much fun, and then in real life, it felt way harder for some reason. I also meant to jump in the simulator before I went. It's been like 3 or 4 days since I had been in the simulator because I've been busy building this thing, and I got so excited I forgot that I wanted to kind of jump into a practice round. That probably would have helped a little bit. It always takes me, you know, once I hop in the sim, it usually takes me 10 or 15 minutes to kind of get warmed up and get the flow again. I think this pack 2 is the only pack I ran completely. Like I did it in 2 stages. I had to stop because that other guy, but this was the only one I was able to kind of fully deplete. I don't know how much time I had. I guess it says right there, flying 4 minutes, at 5 minutes now. So yeah, we'll see at the end here. Trying to go through these gates. They're pretty tight. Obviously hit the ground there. I also didn't want to hit them and mess up those guys' posts, so I was, you know, trying not to get too close to them. Yeah, anyway, this is totally unedited. I just thought it'd be interesting. I know when I was kind of looking at other people's videos, I really wanted to see what it looked like when someone brand new flew after a few hours in the simulator. There's a few videos out there, but I just find it interesting. So I thought I'll just post unedited full clips of my first 3 packs so you can kind of see what it looks like when brand new pilot goes flying. I tell you what, it's way more intense in real life than it is in the simulator. I texted my buddy Alan, who's been helping me get into this, and was like, my God, I couldn't even finish one whole pack. It was so intense. You know, when you hear like, oh, you only get 4 or 5 minutes per pack, you think like, man, that's not enough. But yeah, it's definitely plenty. Like by the end of it, you need a break. Yeah, so we're at like 6.5 minutes here. Obviously, I'm not running it hard, so I guess if I don't run it too hard, probably lasts pretty good. I've got the Tattoo version 5, 6S, 1400 milliamp hour batteries. That's what I'm running on this guy. I was tempted to try to power loop that bulldozer, whatever it's called, front load. No, I don't know. But there were workers around, and I wasn't sure if they'd all left or not. Plus, it's in a fenced area, and I was like, I'm definitely not good enough to be trying that stuff yet. Right here, I see 2.5. So 7.5 minutes, if that counter at the bottom right's correct. That's pretty good. Yeah, so right here it does say recording aircraft camera view failed. So I guess that overheating was the reason why the 03 didn't record this, and I had to use the goggle view. Here, my wife was like, hey, try to fly close to the car, because our dog Jake was like really interested in it. So you'll see here, this is probably the best clip of the day. I'm not gonna talk and let you enjoy Jake's point of view here. Jake loves it. He just loves chase. Like, if I could let him off leash, he'd probably be going crazy, but I wouldn't do that just because I'd be scared I'd hit him. But yeah, he seems pretty interested. I thought he'd be scared of it, but he doesn't seem too scared of it. Here I'm just kind of going back and forth, trying to see how fast I could fly this thing. Then I get the great idea to do a big split S on this amazing tree, and I almost pull it off, go a little too low, hit the ground, and I freak out and gun it, get it in a tree. And here's some footage of me trying to get out. It was probably like 20 feet up, and I wasn't sure what to do. I tried the turtle mode. That wasn't really working. I took it out of turtle mode and just kind of messed around with some of the controls, trying not to mess it up too hard. If it was lower, I probably would have climbed the tree and grabbed it or gotten a pole or something, but it was way up there. Eventually it comes loose, plummets like 20 feet to asphalt, and it was fine. I mean, I think. I haven't really diagnosed it yet, but I know one prop's bent, one motor feels kind of iffy, but we'll see. Hopefully it's okay. And that's it. So, you know, successful first day, I think. Got my first crash out of the way. I plan to be making more of these videos in the future, so if you guys find this interesting and want to follow along on my journey of being a noob ass FPV pilot, subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.